Well, hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns 2 for more coverage of the Zelda 1 Battle for Hyrule tournament. Uh, today we have a match from the any percent No Up+A Championship Bracket for you. It's cantaloupeme versus droois, and here for commentary, here to tell you all about this race is Dr. Blue. Dr. Blue, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Tobias. Hope you're doing well this fine Sunday.
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'll hand them over to you in just a little bit once I've set these racers off. So they are off now. Should be visible on stream in just about 45 seconds or so. So, who are we looking at today? Who are our runners?
Two very talented runners, as a matter of fact. Both have made it through their various first round in this bracket here in the top 16. They're now in the top 8 facing each other. Cantaloupe actually took the 1 seed in this tournament qualifiers with a time of 29:17. Droois took 8th with a qualifier of 31:56. But like we say all the time, this can always be anybody's race in these tournament races. In terms of their bracket PBs, they have, or not bracket, but category PBs, they have a 28:34 and 29:44 respectively. And it looks like they're off.
And here we go. You might want to refresh your commentary page real quick. I think you're off maybe by a second or two.
Will do.
And yeah, with that, I leave you in the competent hands of Dr. Blue. Have a great race, guys and gals and everybody else.
All right, let's see how our racers will start off. Both, of course, heading 3 first at this stage in the championship bracket. I'm not surprised. Going 2 first is, of course, more stable and safe, but going 3 first is the fastest way you can go. All right, let's see what our runners will do in the first factor here. I'm pretty sure neither one has manipulation going on, so they are just leaving it up to the gods of the Dark Nuts to see if they give him a first bomb. Looks like Droois got himself the first bomb, while Cantaloupe has to kill all 3, but is still just only a couple seconds behind. So if Droois needs extra bombs on his way back after the retrieving the raft, he'll have a resource available to him, while Cantaloupe won't have that, but we'll see how the second factor treats both of our runners here. For those that don't know, you can manipulate your walking pattern at the start of the game to manipulate these first 2 patterns of Dark Nuts in order to guarantee stuff, but neither runner's struggling at all with the patterns they were given and with their combat, both making it into the raft in great times and just, again, a couple seconds off of each other. As our runners head back, they're going to retrace their steps back through the first factor room, because that is the quickest way they can get to Manhandla, which is one of the most RNG heavy bosses in the game, in this category anyway. So when they come into the Manhandla fight, they will have to kill all 4 of the little grabby arms. They each take 4 hit points to knock off, and you can clear them all off with 1 single bomb, provided Manhandla behaves properly. And we'll see Cantaloupe get there first and see how he handles it. While Droois has only a couple bombs, Cantaloupe hits 3 with the first bomb, takes a couple more, but he gets through with his bomb drop, and Droois makes up a little time getting his bomb there. 7 bombs apiece, 5 bombs apiece, couple seconds, no sweat. Both of our runners are out of 3. Alright, so very close so far. Neither runner took an unfortunate death in 3, which is always great to see. The last thing you want to see is a race where one runner ends up a couple minutes behind straight from the get-go. So Cantaloupe will be the first one to make his way up to level 4. Just a couple screens to the right, couple screens up, using the raft they acquired in level 3, which is why we visit that dungeon first in this category. And now we're in level 4, which has a very important item as well, the ladder, which will help us through many other locations in Hyrule. So Cantaloupe making his way up through the first 2 rooms in 4, Droois right behind. Both runners are building their counts up by killing things along the way. They will farm either rupees or bombs, depending on what they need or what their plans are up in the coming rooms. So they're trying to build their counts up to 9 if they want a bomb force, or more than that if they want more. Looks like Cantaloupe attempted to get something there on the Zol, but he only got a single rupee, so his count may have been off. Droois, meanwhile, got himself the bombs that he was looking for. Cantaloupe now has a count of 0, so he'll use this NSU room here to start rebuilding a count, or get his bomb. There it is. So it looks like he was at 7 in the other room. Meanwhile, Droois is rebuilding his count up to 9. He bombed 1 Vire, is going to slice up 8 more of the red keys to force yet more bombs in this breakfast room. Let's see how Cantaloupe handles the breakfast room here. So far, so good. Sorts the pancakes on over so he can get a couple efficient bomb drops off, and Droois actually sneaks a tiny lead ahead. It is absolutely neck and neck at this point, folks. We have 2 very talented runners on display here today. As a really good ladder time there. Just a hair over 4 minutes for both runners grabbing the ladder. Droois missing half a heart. That's not the biggest deal in the world. It's always nice to have beams, of course, but only being down half a heart is not putting you in the danger zone yet. Now our runners are headed to the back half of level 4 here. They're on their way to the level 4 boss Gleeok, which is the other big gatekeeper in the early part of this run. Takes 16 sword swings to bring him down, 10 on the first head, 6 on the second, and with such low resources compared to how a casual run, or how the game expects you to be there in a casual run, it's definitely challenging, but we'll see our runners here do pretty well. Alright, so in terms of the sock hop here, as Lack Attack puts on his splits, Cantaloupe gets a little bit better off in terms of the patterns there, but again, Droois right behind him. Now Cantaloupe starting to dance with Gleeok, and there's Droois as well. Cantaloupe takes a hit. Droois got his hearts back, so he has beams again. Cantaloupe 2 hits down, but down to the last head. 1 hit to go, gotta be careful. Droois down 1 hit, down to the last head too. Cantaloupe typewriting his way, and both runners are like on the same frame, yeah. Right out of 4. Cantaloupe has slightly more of a heart refill, which will put him behind just a hair, but at this point in the run, it's just a few seconds. With our runners out of 3 and 4, now they will head to level 1 with the ladder and raft in their pockets now, and a few hearts and some money on hand. They will go to level 1, hope to collect some more money, and of course grab the bow that sits at the top of the dungeon. Like in the front half of level 4, any enemies that get in the way, they're going to slice away. They're not going to go out of their way to kill more, but they will again attempt to force bombs in the top part of level 1 so that they can maintain their counts. In older routes, it was a lot more mandatory to have a full bomb count leaving level 1 because you headed to level 5. But in more modern routes, you go to level 2, which does not have a strict bomb requirement. But of course, having a full set of bombs or close to it when leaving level 1 is always preferred because you can just go faster at that point. All right, the Stalfos is another room that's kind of dependent on the patterns and how they work out. So it looks like Droois is just a hair ahead here still. So about even so far compared to how they both left level 4. Sorting past the Stalfos, getting to the 3 Garias, dropping a bomb, ideally forcing a bomb. Both runners do that. Cantaloupe sorts down the last one. Can even leave a set of bombs behind because he's just got a full pocket already. Droois extends his lead just a hair. They're still within 1 screen of each other. It's a very tight race through the first parts here. It's pretty great. Right, now both runners are going to head to the latter half of level 1 here. It sure is easy to commentate when both runners are on the same screen. I don't have to keep track of 2 separate things. I can just say they're both headed to Aquamentus right now, and that's indeed where they're going. Ideally, they won't get hit because the longer you don't get hit, the more money you tend to obtain, because every 10 kills you get 10 rupees, provided a certain provision prevents you from grabbing a fairy at 16, but Droois takes a boomerang bot, which resets his count. I'm only mentioning the counts at this point because the race is so close, and every little bit is going to matter at this point. So Droois drops a bomb, stabs Aquamentus down, Cantaloupe doing the exact same thing. About the only difference in resources now is the money more than anything else. Droois only has $11 to his name, while Cantaloupe has 17. It's possible Cantaloupe may skip a rupee grab secret in the overworld here to save himself about 8 seconds. It's a little bit dicey with 17 rupees. You ideally want at least 20 by the time you leave level 1 in the ideal scenario. But in a race, we'll see what he does. Droois, meanwhile, is almost guaranteed to want to grab a little extra money in the overworld with his rupee count. Droois is struggling a little bit on his screen wraps here, going across the desert. Cantaloupe aces them no problem, grabbing himself an extra heart container, which both runners will always grab in order to grab the magical sword much later in the run. So Cantaloupe takes a bit of a lead here. He has the lead on money, he has the lead on life, and he has the lead on time, which is, of course, the only step that matters. He is indeed skipping the almost 30 secret. He's going to try and get all of his money on level 2. Meanwhile, Drew is taking a little detour here, unfortunately taking a couple hits and sacrificing a bit of time, but he will have no money troubles, at least, at this point in the game. Cantaloupe, first to enter level 2. Level 2 is all about going fast and not getting hit. It looks like a super easy dungeon, and casually it is, but it can suck away a lot of time if things just don't go your way. Cantaloupe handles the first room without any issue. He's going to walk up, try to not get hit by Gorillas. Drew is a couple screens behind at this point. Cantaloupe takes a little walk, but doesn't get hit, which is important because maintaining your count is vital in order to force extra money. Gets himself a bunch of money there. Cantaloupe already up to 35 rupees. You need 40 by the time you get to go shopping after level 5. He takes an unfortunate hit there at Moldorm, so he's not going to get a bomb force. Meanwhile, Drew is heading up into the second rope room, while Cantaloupe tackles the third. Okay, Cantaloupe has his money, no problem, and Drew has more than enough because he took a little time to grab the extra money on the way to level 2. Final Gorilla room, you're just dropping bombs, and you're hoping you can get through as fast as you can with a good bomb count. Gorillas did not give him any bombs, unfortunately, but there is a static bomb drop in the room. If Dodongo plays nicely, Cantaloupe is fine. Okay. Only takes one bomb to take down Dodongo as long as he walks properly. And now Cantaloupe exits level 2 with a full pack of bombs, which is not strictly required, but if you want to go fast at all in level 5, it's pretty much required to have all your bombs. Droois, meanwhile, having no bombs as he exits the final room into Dodongo, meaning if he drops one bomb here, he'll be one bomb down, which is the case here. Dodongo took a little trip to the right, but overall didn't make him waste any bombs, which is good because he's already going to be at a deficit as he exits level 2. Right. Cantaloupe and Droois will now head to the top right corner of the map to pick up 100 rupees in the secret up here in the upper right corner of the map. When you get to 142 rupees, you have every single rupee you need in the game, and that counts the arrows you have to fire towards the end. But you need 140 to purchase the items that you require on this particular route. We do not buy the blue candle in this version of the route, so that saves you 60 bucks, meaning you only need 140 for meat and for arrows respectively. Both of those are coming after level 5 though. Level 5 is typically the pivoting point of most runners when they're going for personal bests. The recorder room, which has 6 blue dark nuts in it, is a very challenging room to do fast, and it also requires you to be carrying a bomb force in order to complete it both quickly and efficiently, and ideally without getting hit, since blue dark nuts, of course, do 2 hit points of damage, just like the Gibdos do here. So Cantaloupe actually getting a bomb off those Gibdos there. I'm almost positive that was a global bomb drop on his part. So he'll be carrying a couple extra bombs on his way to the blue dark nut room. Both runners do, of course, intend to build their counts up to 9, so that by the time they get to the blue dark nut room, the recorder room, they only have to kill a single blue dark nut with a bomb in order to obtain that. That's acquired through killing a bunch of Tektites, Gibdos, and Keys on your way there. Droois knocks out 2, gets a bomb too. Let's see how Cantaloupe does the recorder room. First couple bombs, no sweat. His count was not 9 because he didn't get a drop there. Lining up more. He's got 3 more bombs. He's got 4 more dark nuts. There's 2 walking on top of each other. Yep, there they split up now. He does not get a force. He had killed 3 of them, so his count must have only been at 6 or less. He got a fairy there. Okay, so there's the blue rupee. So he was at a count of 5. That's why he didn't get a bomb drop despite not getting hit. Droois, unfortunately, taking a couple hits right out of the gate as he starts his own recorder room there. He only has 2 more bombs left to his name. Cantaloupe has no bombs, but he'll be able to get more in the back half of 5, as will Droois. All right, so Droois he cannot get hit anymore by these blues. 1 more hit and he's toast. He has to sword down these remaining 2 blue dark nuts. He has to be a little careful fighting them on full tiles for the most part, so you can easily escape their attacks. And there he goes. Successfully kills off the rest of the blue dark nuts. Well done. He's a little bit further behind now because of the recorder room. Like I said, it's one of the most pivotal points in the run, and it can just make or break a run in most cases. You'll often see runners just flat out reset if the room goes too slowly. But of course, this is a race, and neither run is going to reset no matter how good or bad that room goes. Cantaloupe now going into the back half of level 5. Recorder in his pocket. Droois a few rooms behind. we'll see Cantaloupe get some bombs here from the triple Dodongo room. Neither Dodongo gives him a bad time, so he's able to get in and out of there with relatively low issue. You need a full pack of bombs for the next level. This is the other variant compared to the old route, where you would do level 5 and then level 2. You can just merely not care about your bomb count exiting level 5. But with this new route, you have to have full bombs, so we've incorporated farming those Dodongos to make sure we have a full count on our way out. So Cantaloupe into the top row. He's going to go right to left here, just dodging a few more things. The back half of this dungeon is all about just avoiding damage and rebuilding your resources. Unfortunately, the Dodongo gives Droois a bit of a hard time there. Hopefully he'll only have to drop one more bomb. Good. If he did it, he would have had to farm that third Dodongo. There's also a static drop in that room, so as long as you drop one, you're not hosed, but you are going to be losing time. Cantaloupe chasing Dig Dogger's fast head around and gets him out without taking a hit, which is good because any hits you take cost you time in the refill screen here once you pick up the Triforce. Cantaloupe on his way out with all the resources he needs to finish the game as he gets into the back half of the game. Droois, again, just a few screens behind. He has to be careful since most things do 2 hit points of damage in this dungeon, including the boss. So in the upcoming Dig Dogger fight, he'll hopefully not get hit by it. If he has to, he can take a hit from the fireballs, since they only do half a heart apiece. Cantaloupe, meanwhile, making his way to the shopping district in Hyrule. Gonna pick up some meat, gonna pick up some arrows, and then head his way over to the lake where level 7 resides. What Cantaloupe just did there is a trick known as the tricorder. It is, in short terms, a way to make your run go faster. It speeds up the timer in which the shopkeeper will spawn. Sometimes it can be delayed for reasons. It advances your recorder count by 1, which is something that matters for later when you actually use it to warp somewhere else. And it times out the Armos activation time. So it does effectively 3 things for you, hence the name tricorder. We'll see Droois do the same thing here in just a moment as Cantaloupe makes his way through the dead woods on the way to level 7. Yep, there goes Droois into the shopkeeper's den. Tricorder strategy used. Now let's see how Cantaloupe tackles the first part of level 7 here. I am not actually sure if he was building a count on his way. This is another instance where you want to not get hit, so you maintain your count. So in the next room here, the river room, you can use bombs without sacrificing your total bomb count. Okay, he's actually just using arrow strats. Nice and easy. Arrows do 2 points of damage. Gorillas need 3 arrows to take them out, or 2 arrows and a sword. Well done. Still has enough arrows for a couple required uses later in the game. Definitely a lot less stressful than using the river room bomb strat. Of course, the bomb strat is faster, but it is riskier. So in a race, totally get using arrow strats here. Gets past Grumble Grumble on his way to the back half of level 7 here. Droois, meanwhile, making his entry into level 7. Takes a hit from behind from the gorilla. If he had bomb strats in mind, either say goodbye to those or risk it for the biscuit and do it anyway. He has 27 arrows, and he's just going for arrows, of course. So, making quick work of this room, honestly. Getting through there without too much muss. Meanwhile, Cantaloupe grabbing the red candle, as on this alternative route to the blue candle route. You pick up the red candle here. The one other really hard part about this alternate route is the upcoming Wallmaster room. The spawn pattern of the Wallmasters is much more difficult when you grab the red candle. Speaking of grabbing things, Cantaloupe got himself another bomb drop there, which is great. You need a ton of bombs for level 7, and you enter with just enough to squeak by. But it leaves you with no bombs for the upcoming level, which is a requirement unless you want to spend a lot of time fighting a bonus Gleeok. But Cantaloupe's not going to have that problem. What he will have a problem with, though, is missing the bombs on the second Dig Dogger there. He's going to exit and re-enter the room. If you kill part of a sub-boss in this game, it's just considered defeated if you leave the room and come back. It works also for Moldorm as well, and for Lanmola. I think it works for Dodongos as well, but usually you don't see that because Dodongos give us bombs. All right, Cantaloupe making short work of the Wallmaster room, using a favorite strat of his, just using the red candle to burninate them all. And now he's on kind of low health. He only has a couple rooms to go, but there is a career room upcoming. Gotta be a tiny bit careful. He is good on bombs at least. Droois, on the other hand, has 2 bombs left to his name. He can finish this dungeon, but he will be wanting a bomb pretty badly here by the time he gets to a certain part of level 6. Cantaloupe using a bomb on Aquamentus to speed that fight up because he has bombs to spare, and now he's at a level 7. Grabbing that Triforce at about 1903. All right, let's see how Droois handles this last room here. There is a chance for him to get bombs from an orange Gorilla here. Just has to bomb that final wall. Knocks out 2. Unfortunately, no bomb drops, so he'll be praying at the chapel, which is a room we've nicknamed at the beginning of level 6, which gives you a bunch of bomb chances. Right, takes out Aquamentus with a sword, exits with full health. He'll actually gain a little bit of time here on Cantaloupe because Cantaloupe had quite the refill. Cantaloupe making his way to grab some Raft Heart and Ladder Heart there on the coast, which will give him the 12 hearts he needs in order to grab the Magical Sword. The Magical Sword will quadruple his damage output, so he'll be doing 4 hit points of damage per swing instead of the 1 with the Wood Sword, which is the sole reason everybody grabs 12 hearts in first quest. It is technically faster if you have absolutely perfect combat, and by perfect I mean tool-assisted speedrun levels of perfect. But of course, none of us are robots, so we all go for the Magical Sword. Even with all the overworld hunting of extra hearts and taking time to grab hearts from bosses, it is still leagues faster, and of course a lot safer, because you can take a lot more hits. Right, Cantaloupe grabbing his Magical Sword around the 2027 mark or so. I failed to mention it, but Droois is about to do the other recorder trick called the Recorder. Short version is, you take the raft and the recorder at the same time. Instead of warping to their designated level 7 point, which is down and to the right of where they ended up, the raft takes you up, the recorder puts you to the left because it sends you back to the right when it deposits you. Therefore, you end up top left in the graveyard. Cantaloupe in the chapel getting 2 bomb drops. He's just spoiled with bombs so far. He had only 1, so it's nice to get at least 1 drop there, but he got 2. He was on a good global count there. Now he's making absolutely short work of the Belfry here, putting those beams to excellent use. No problem. 8 keys down, no sweat. Heading into Magical Breakfast 1, while Droois prays at the chapel. No bombs for Droois. Okay, so he'll have to be careful here in the upcoming rooms. There's a couple more chances he can get bombs. You basically have to hope that the global will drop for you. If you're tracking your global, you can kind of line up the count, but you're still at the mercy of randomization. You got a 41% chance. That wall that Cantaloupe just bombed and walked through, that's a room that you have to bomb to get through, of course. And if you don't, you have to go up and around, which costs a lot of time because you have to fight what we call the Gliok of Shame. So far, Droois unlucky with that heart drop there on the first orange Wizrobe, the only enemy in this room that can drop. Magical Breakfast 2, meanwhile, just disappearing before our very eyes like a magic trick. Cantaloupe not losing a single half heart of health as he makes his way through MB2. All right, Droois has 1 more chance here. Unfortunately, that's a clock. Global's at 2, meaning he has to go up to the Gliok of Shame. Gliok of Shame is a 3-headed Gliok, which is not hard at all because you have the Magical Sword. But the problem is you have to go up and around, and this is, of course, costing extra time. Cantaloupe, meanwhile, taking down Goma, a far easier boss with just 1 arrow. While Droois has to go fetch an extra key and hopefully get some bombs here. So Cantaloupe out of 2 without a refill, no less. Doing very well here in this first race. Droois, meanwhile, taking a beam to the back from a red Wizrobe, which unfortunately does 4 hearts of damage, so he's on low health now, on top of also not getting any bombs in that previous room. Down to 1 more hit here. He takes a death, unfortunately, in the dark room. He did grab the key, but now he has to rewalk level 6. If he deigns to continue. Given he has paused here on the continue string, he might have thrown in the towel. Oh yes, his console is reset. He is officially forfeited in the RTGG room. Cantaloupe, in order to take the win on this first race, must complete the race here, regardless of the opponent's forfeit status. So that was just really unfortunate on Droois' angle, and that can happen in a race and a run, pretty much no matter what circumstance. You have no bombs exiting 7. You try to get either a force in 7 or globals, and you just get no luck. You end up going up north to the Gleeok of Shame, trying to get a key and other resources, still don't get bombs, and then Wizrobes just do you in. Yeah, right now, Cantaloupe just making short work of level 8 on a really impressive run here. Indeed, he can technically die because there is a touchback rule in the tournament. You just have to go back to the room where you died in. So even if he does end up taking a death, he just has to go revisit the room. And because he effectively has infinite time now, he can play it as slow and safe as he likes, or he can give us a show and just see how fast he can take this game, because Cantaloupe is a heck of a runner. Gets a fairy, too, on the Gleeok of all things. So now he exits level 8 with no refill. His timer reads 24:38. Looks like it's basically in sync with the race clock, more or less. So that means he can sub-30 this really easily. I agree, John. I do not believe Cantaloupe will be slowing down in any capacity. He has exactly enough bombs to finish the run, so he is perfect on resources. It's just a matter of him completing level 9, which he's done, I think, literally thousands of times in his career by now. He was at a 24x, so I'm guessing it's a 29. He'd have to have a 50x to have a 30 time, and he had 0 refill. So, well, we'll see how he does. All right, into level 9, Cantaloupe goes. So the first room here, we grab our last key of the run. Also, if you are building up a count, you can use this room to give yourself some additional bombs. Looks like Cantaloupe has not elected to get additional bombs there. All well and good. Nice and fast with the beams, making his way into the heart of level 9 now proper. Bit of avoidance. Level 9 has a bit of everything. We have a bit of avoidance in the next couple rooms, just trying to not get hit, killing whatever might be in the way. Sneaks past the pancakes there, the likes. Depending on if they're walking towards you, you can walk by them while they're in their iframes. If they go up, however, you end up getting grabbed, so it's a bit of a risk, but of course, it's a way to make you go faster. Here we go, Patra 1. You can skip Patra 1 entirely, and there are walks you can do to bypass, but unfortunately, Patra 1 went left. And that is what happens when Patra 1 goes left. You are basically always taking at least 1 hit there. Unfortunately, Cantaloupe took 3 hits there, so he's down to just 7 hearts. Let's see how next room treats him. Treats him pretty well, gives him a clock right off the bat. So Cantaloupe's going to kill 2 blue Wizrobes and then try to kill the orange one for a bomb. No dice. If you see a clock drop, you know that a bomb drop is 3 drops away in terms of the global table, just instantly. There's only 1 global slot for the bomb group for the clock. Anyway, at any rate, a clock makes that room free. He can build his count up here and then give himself a bomb right here. Gets a heart, too, for his troubles. Now, he is 5 hearts down, so he can't get back to full health, unfortunately, even if he builds his count up to 16 in order to get a fairy before the reverse C. But he's in pretty good shape as far as bombs are concerned. Goes for the 3 o'clock skip on Patra 2. Nails it, no sweat. Saves a bit of time. Very risky. Got to be really quick on the flick there on the D-pad. But Cantaloupe hits it, no problem. Reverse C here. Just has to be careful. Excellent description. Unfortunately, he takes some hits there from the Wizrobes. Down to 3 hearts now. So going pretty fast. He's going to have like a 2750 something here at the silver arrow grab. And in the last 2 minutes here, he could still sub 30. He might take Patra 2B a little slow. Usually when you walk by Patra 2B, you pretty much know that you're taking a hit, which is 2 hearts. And he's at such low health, he may opt to take Patra 2 slowly so that he doesn't get hit. There is a chance you can sneak by Patra 2B. There's like some manips you can do, but for the most part, it's just down to whether the Patra moves. In this case, Patra 2 is pretty kind to him, so he doesn't lose too much time there and maintains 2.5 hearts. Gets grabbed by gets grabbed by 2 likes. You gotta be careful here. One more grab and he's pancakes. Right. Half a heart of health. That second like could have gone down on him sooner there. Luckily, it avoided him. All right. Got the trap Wizrobe room here. 4 Wizrobes to take down. Cannot get hit by a thing. Add 2 bombs for combat. Uses 1. Dodges both Wizrobes. And gets the final orange one. Gets a heart back, which is pretty important considering the next turn you may have to sacrifice a heart. That is correct, Putz. Droois was not terribly far behind prior to running out of bombs in 6. It was still effectively anybody's race, but you can see in the top 8 here, the championship bracket, you got to go fast in order to keep pace. All right, we got 29 1x in the basement towards the final room here. Cantaloupe, I think, has a fairy count on the way. Probably has his count built up to, I think, 7. He's hoping that Keith will get out of his way. Just gives up because that Keith was just not getting out of the way, unfortunately. So can't get hit by the Patcher 3, but he's taken out P3. Not a single shred of damage to him. Gets a fairy. Got what he needed. I don't know if that was a global or a force. I'm going to give him credit and say that was a force 16. Let's see how Ganon treats Cantaloupe now. Perfect. And Cantaloupe takes game 1. This is a best of 3 series. Cantaloupe up 1 match. He has an official race time GG time of 30 minutes and 11 seconds. An excellent race time to kick us off here. Now we will see everybody in the next race. We'll see if the runners want to take a little breather between races or if they want to just go right off. But either way, I'll see you folks in a few minutes.